watching the Florida Sports Programming Network.
Welcome to Inside the Park on FSPN, the weekly recap show for high school baseball and now summer travel baseball. I'm Uncle Muggs, and alongside me, as always, is Anthony Chappi Castillo.
My man Muggs, it's great to be here once again, brother. Thank you for having me. I'm excited to cover this year's summer travel season with you. And I heard there's going to be some great talent, and you're going to be traveling out to Georgia and Arizona to cover the San Diego Padres scout teams.
That's right, Chappie. We have the privilege to cover one of the best organizations for travel baseball, the San Diego Padres scout teams, and they're run by Mr. Brandon Williams, and he's a class act, Chappie. And the teams, man, they're super stacked with Division I committed players all up and down the lineup. So I'll get into that a little bit more in just a minute, but first we'd like to talk to you about our new sponsor, Prospect Gloves, and they make custom high-quality gloves at a reasonable price, and you can design your glove in almost any color combination you can imagine. These are premium, custom, high-level gloves started by pros, customized by pros, and worn by pros. So go to www.prospectgloves.com and get started designing your very own masterpiece. Use promo code FSPN20 and receive an extra 20% discount for your order. And check this out, Chappie. This is the glove that they made for Uncle Muggs.
Wow, Muggsy. That's really nice, man. I really like all of that. I like how they incorporated that microphone, the Uncle Muggs, obviously that FSPN logo. And for everybody out there, if you're interested in one of these gloves, make sure you guys use that promo code FSPN20 for a 20% discount.
And Chappie, the owner of the company, is a baseball player. He plays for the Durham Bulls, the affiliate for the Tampa Bay Rays, and he's the sidearm pitcher, Antonio Menendez.
I know who that is. I remember who that is. Yeah, a little side armor for the Durham Bulls. He also went to Wake Forest and played for the USA team, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. All right, Chappie, it's time for the first pitch, Player Spotlight. And what do you have for us this week?
All right, so this week on the first pitch Player Spotlight, we're going to highlight a couple players. Before we start that, I'd like to announce that I have proudly partnered with a showcase brand named Best in US Showcase, ran by Nolan Mansfield. And this is a showcase brand in which they go to camps and they create these events at universities and colleges all across the nation. At the University of Tennessee, Notre Dame, University of Central Florida, and many, many more all across the nation. So please, if you guys get the opportunity, make sure you guys check us out at bestinusshowcases.com. And my promo code to sign up and register for the University of Central Florida Showcase is Chappy2025. You guys get a promo code by using my affiliated promo code. Please make sure you guys are using Chappy2025. Now let's go into the first pitch player spotlights. First on the first pitch player spotlight is a right-handed pitcher out of Cohea, Robert Ross. Ross, who stands around 5'10", crafty sophomore, pounds the zone and mixes up a good breaking ball. And I'm excited for him as his development throughout this season. And hopefully he could be one of those top guys in the rotation for Cohea next season. Moving on is another 2027 right-handed pitcher, two-way, out of Coral Glades High School named Jason Lincoln. Jason, who is a very versatile player, but on the mound shows a lot of potential and projectability. Very easy delivery, mid-80s fastball with a very organized slider. And I'm very excited for this kid. He has a huge ceiling, and I'm hoping that this kid can find himself a great home at the next level. Looking forward to his commitment soon. Next off on this first pitch player spotlight is a catcher utility player out of South Dade Senior High School, Giovanni Vera. Class of 2026, 5'8", 160-pound catcher. Very versatile, good defender, good athlete, has a knack for barrels. And I'm really looking forward to his commitment soon as he's coming out of the class of 2026. Last on this list for this week's episode is a utility player, right-handed pitcher out of Miami Palmetto, 2026, Christian Dixon. Dixon, 180 pounds, shows the ability to drive the ball into the gap, and he has a knack for barrels. This kid also led the Palmetto Panthers offensively this season in most of the categories, from batting average to RBI to OPS, and he's been a 3-year letterman. Yes, 3-year letterman. He's been playing since a freshman. This kid is very good. He's a part of the First Pitch Player Advisory Board. Congratulations to you guys. And also, make sure you guys are tuning in every week onto this podcast so you guys can check up on all of the First Pitch Player Spotlights right here on FSPN.
Once again, Chappi, magnificent with the camera and the angles and just being able to find these kids, man, in a place. You got a great knack for that. You're good at this.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll be right back with the weekly recap of scores and highlights from this summer's first tournament. It's the Prospect Select Memorial Day Open in Jupiter, Florida. When we come back to Inside the Park right after this.
You're watching the Florida Sports Programming Network.
Welcome back to Inside the Park, the weekly recap show for summer travel baseball. I'm Uncle Muggs alongside Chappi Castillo. And Chappi, it's time for the very first weekly recap for the summer 2025 travel baseball season.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel so that we can continue bringing you this content. And don't forget us on Instagram and Facebook at Floridasportspn.
Here is the FSPN summer travel schedule. We hope to cover between 6 to 8 games per tournament. Next week we'll be in Marietta, Georgia, covering the Perfect Game Beast of the East tournament. And then we're going to Arizona and to the San Diego Padres training facility. And in July we'll be back in East Cobb once again. So it's going to be a busy, busy summer, Chappi. This past week, I was in Jupiter at the Roger Dean Complex covering the Prospect Select Memorial Day Tournament. And let's start off with the 14U division. These youngsters, they're the future stars of high school. Here's a look at Coach Molina's team, the IS Elite 2029 Molina. Chappi, we're here to follow what, in my opinion, is the best 17U and 18U team ever assembled. The San Diego Padres scout team. This team is super stacked with some incredible talent.
Muggsy, looking over that roster with names like Isaac Vidal and Landon Tooze, Jaden Lau, Gabo Granadillo, Santiago Ponte, JC Leon, just to name a few, this team is very stacked. And I can see why you're so enthusiastic about that roster.
Man, I have the same feeling, the gut feeling I had when Matter in the beginning of the season, and I have the same feeling when I walk around this San Diego Padres scout team. I think they're going to win it all. And they have a couple of really, really good catchers in Vivas and Javen Francois. But Chappi, the thing with these travel teams is that they don't really have a lot of time to practice together, so it's super important to have the right coaches in order to get these guys to gel in a very short period of time. And the Padres, they have some good ones, starting off with Coach Gonzalez and Coach Ivan Pelaez and Coach Chris Medeiros. They have a really good crew over there in San Diego. In the first game of the tournament, the Padres face the Elite Squad 17U American team.
Elite Squad has some familiar names on that roster like Belenj, Julian Albert, and Brian Martinez from Braddock.
Chappi, the Padres sent to the mound Matter Academy right-hander Gabo Granadillo, and Double G picked up right where he left off. He threw 5 innings, allowing just 1 hit and 0 runs. His hard slider had the Elite Squad off balance the entire game. And offensively, the Padres got some big hits from Kevin Liriano, JC Leon, and Santiago Ponte. The Padres would win their first game 8-0 over Elite Squad.
Game 2, the Padres faced the Scorpions of South Florida 2026 team. And this team is led by Coral Reef head coach Nick Quintero.
The Padres bats continued to stay hot in this game, and they got some big hits from Michael Alicea, Kevin Liriano, and that guy, JC Leon again. The Padres had a 4-run second inning and a 5-run third inning. For San Diego, it was pitching by committee with Jaden Lau, Nico Rivera, and Matt Vigil. They held the Scorpions to just 1 run, and the final score in this one was 9-1.
The Padres, coming off of Game 2, are now 2-0 and leading into Game 3 against IS Elite Pazos 2026 team. The Padres sent Correa's Jaden Lau to the mound, and then Flago, well, he was just his usual dominant self, throwing 5 innings, allowing just 1 hit, and giving out 5 crocodigas.
The Pazos pitcher was also very effective, and it was Alejandro Bros from your Ferguson Falcons, and he looked good, recording 5 croquetas in 4 innings.
The Pazos team, they also had a familiar name in Matter Academy's Brian Fernandez and Andres Suarez from Miami Springs.
After 7 innings of play, time would expire, and this game ended in a tie 2-2. At this point in the tournament, the Padres 2027 scout team had a record of 2 wins, 0 losses, and 1 tie, and they would need to win Game 4 against the PSA Red Sox scout team. The Red Sox have Renee Dunn from Schoolhouse Prep behind the plate, and he was awesome back there. But the Padres would put up 5 runs in the bottom of the first inning, and they never looked back. They would go on to beat VSA Red Sox 10-2, and San Diego would be the number 1 seed going into the semifinals of the 18U/17U Open Division.
Along with the Padres in that semifinals were Los Explorers, that are led by Coach Fernando, and they were the number 3 seed.
The number 2 seed was a team from Caguas, Puerto Rico, the SBO 17U team, and they're led by their fiery head coach, Jose Rodriguez. That team had some familiar names on there as well, like your boy from Cypress Bay, Diego Baron. And my goodness, Chappie, that kid can hit with a wooden bat, an aluminum bat. You can give him a rubber bat, and that kid will hit line drives.
The 4th team on this list and the final team on this list for the semifinals was IS Elite 2026 Sanchez. And they have my boy from West Broward, Alain Ducasi. From the Miami Springs, it's Jordan Torres. And that lefty, Damian Villabrille.
So in Game 1 of the semis, it was the number 1 seed San Diego Padres scout team against the IS Elite 2026 Sanchez team. Villabrille was on the mound for IS Elite, and the lefty had to face his Miami Springs teammate, Adrian Henriquez. But it wasn't Henriquez that got to Villabrille. It was Diaz, Javen Francois, and that dude again, J.C. Leon. Each had 2 hits in this game. Alexis Zapata was on the mound for the Padres. He threw 5 innings, allowing 3 hits and 0 runs. Braden Berry came in to close it up for the Padres, and the Padres won their semifinal game 7-1, punching a ticket into the finals.
Meanwhile, in that Game 2 of the semifinals, Los Explorers from Columbus travel team against the Boricuas from that SBO 17U team. SBO jumped out to a 5-2 lead over that pitching-depleted Explorers team, but in the top of the 6th, Los Huechete boys put up 3 runs to tie that game at 5 apiece. Thanks to a base-clearing double by Jonathan, Los Explorers picked up 1 more run in the top of the 7th and held on to upset the SBO 17U team. Nick De La Paz and Rene Ruiz pitched 3 innings apiece for Los Explorers.
So the final was set. It was the powerful Padres scout team against Los Explorers. By this point in the tournament, the Westchester boys were spent, Chappie, and they were no match for the stacked San Diego team. But in typical Westchester fashion, the boys managed to scrap out a run in the top of the first inning. But that was it for the Explorers, because the Padres pitchers, Elvin Pascual and Mika Flores, combined for a 1-hitter. Yeber Diaz, Christopher Gonzalez, and Adrian Henriquez provided the offense for the Padres that ended up knocking out the Explorers in just 4 innings. So, Chappie, no doubt that the San Diego Padres 2027 scout team are one of the premier teams, not only in Florida, but the entire nation. Let's take a look at what the director of the San Diego Padres scout team had to say, Mr. Brandon Williams. Tournament of the Summer Prospect Select, and we're in Jupiter with Coach Williams and his San Diego Padres scout team. How satisfying is it to get a W in the very first tournament?
Very satisfying. Most importantly, the way the boys conducted themselves, played with class, fought for each other. Great, just the culture. The culture is there to match the talent. This was a warm-up tournament for us, so we're ready to hit the national stage and compete.
All right, tell me something about your coaching staff and how they gel together with the team in this tournament.
Yeah, so we have head coach Ray Del Gonzalez. He's been with us. This is the third summer now. He coached our South Florida team for the past 2 years. Earned every right to be a head coach of the Padres scout team. And beside him is the pitching coach, Christopher Medeiros. They've done a great job. It's obvious they've done a great job. The players love them. And again, we're excited. We're excited for the future. We're excited for the future of this team.
All right, if this is just a warm-up, I can't wait to see what's coming up next the rest of the way.
We need you out there. We need you out there supporting us. We love it. I've been watching you all
it.
year. But again, thank you for coming out. And it's great baseball being played by these young men.
I want to say thank you and congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back with more right here on FSPN.
Muggsy, those Padres scout teams throughout the summer, they're going to be creating havoc against all of these teams. And this is just a small glimpse of what's to come for this San Diego's Padres scout team.
Just like Mr. Williams said, this is a warm-up tournament for them, and they destroyed everybody. So I'm looking forward to see them in East Cobb and Georgia. So when we come back to Inside the Park, we're going to break down this week's upcoming tournament at the East Cobb Complex in Marietta, Georgia. We're going to go over some of the teams and players that will be in this tournament. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Inside the Park right after this. See it, Gabo. Let me see it. Let me see it, Gabo. Hey, you're getting used to holding some trophies lately, Papi.
You're watching the Florida Sports Programming Network.
Welcome back to Inside the Park on FSPN, the weekly recap show for high school baseball and travel baseball. Well, Chappi, next week from June 5th through June 9th, we're going to be in East Cobb. We're going to focus on the San Diego Padres scout teams, both the 18U and the 17U. But if we have some time, we're going to try to squeeze in some 14 and 15U games as well.
I'm very excited for that tournament, as there will be plenty of scouts and colleges at that tournament. The 17U Padres will definitely be tested in this tournament. There are some nationally ranked teams, and it's got to be some fun, and it's going to be a Padres type of run.
It's going to be a dogfight over there. So let's go over some of these teams that are going to be in the 17U division. There is the 5-Star Mafia, and the Mafia is currently ranked number 11 in the nation, and they're out of Warner Robins, Georgia.
Yeah, an incredible, talented ball club out of Georgia, and I'm very excited to see how they come out in this tournament.
The number 12 ranked team in the nation for the 17U division is from Marietta, Georgia, and they're the East Cobb Astros.
The East Cobb Astros, they played in the Memorial Day tournament, and they only finished 4th out of all those teams. And for their standard, that's not enough, because they're always looking to win it. But they are a team to be reckoned with in this upcoming tournament.
Next, we have the CBU 2026 scout team of Stofsky/McCoy, and this team is out of Fort Lauderdale and are ranked number 15 in the nation.
Yeah, CBU, they played also in the Memorial Day Classic and this weekend's Fort Myers, and they went 4-2. And if I'm not mistaken, that team is looking to bounce back and try to put another ring on their finger.
So stick with us, everyone. We're going to bring you complete coverage of the tournament in East Cobb on next week's edition of Inside the Park. So on behalf of Chappi Castillo, I'm Uncle Mug saying so long, and we'll see you next time Inside the Park.
You're watching the Florida Sports Programming Network.